Hi guys, today I'm here to talk about Passenger by Alexandra Bracken, and I wanted to do a mini review for you guys, as well as at the end I'm going to be doing the Passenger tag or book challenge, whatever you want to call it. And I've got about 8 or so of my favorite books that I've read that have to deal with like different time periods and countries and things like that. And Disney-Hyperion was nice enough to send me this book early, and they're also nice enough to be sponsoring this video. I love working with them, and I loved this book so much, guys. I love Alexandra Bracken. I'd be surprised if you don't know who she is, but she's the author of the Darkest Minds trilogy, which is one of my favorite trilogies. If you like dystopian series, check this out. So I knew I'd pretty much pick up anything else she wrote. And then this is about time traveling, and I'm a Whovian, so obviously I was very excited about this book. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was fantastic. I just loved the characters. I loved the world, all the time traveling. I thought it was a very unique system. I just thought it was so good. And if you've not heard of Passenger, I'd be surprised because it's all over YouTube right now. It's all over Tumblr and Instagram. But it came out January 5th, so it has not been out very long at all. But it's about this girl named Etta, and she is a violin prodigy. She's amazing at it. She's in present day New York, by the way. And it kind of reminded me of the beginning of the Mortal Instruments series, where it's Clary's separated from her mother, and she finds out her whole life is sort of a lie, and that she has been involved in a sort of world that she knew nothing about. And that's kind of how this was. She didn't know, her mother didn't tell her anything about her real world she lived in, that she could time travel. She didn't know any of this. So in the very beginning of the book, she just gets thrust into it, and she is accidentally basically time travels with this girl, and she's just thrown miles and miles and a really long time away, hundreds of years from her time period. It's really fun because I just thought this was so action-packed, and it just goes and goes and goes the whole time. But it's also kind of like a scavenger hunt. So the whole time she's trying to figure out these clues, and she goes time travels to this next location because she's trying to find this super special object. I mean, she's kind of blackmailed to do it, but it's still a really fun adventure. There's also romance. I love the other character, Nicholas. I like that he's so out of her time period, and I loved his manners. And I also like that this was an interracial relationship, because you don't see that a lot, I feel in YA, or at least I don't read that a lot. And I like that the author would go back and forth between the two POVs, so you could really see kind of what they were both thinking, and I think it felt more real that way. But overall, I highly recommend this if you like anything to do with time traveling, if you like romance, if you like adventure stories, with it's fast paced and they're on a quest for something. That's what this is, and I loved it. I am so excited. There's going to be a second book. It's going to be a duology, and I'm already so anxious for that second book because yes, I won't say any more. But anyways, definitely check this out if you guys want to. I highly recommend it. So now on to the sort of Passenger book tag book challenge. I have 8 books, like I said, that I've all read, and I love all these books. The first book I have, a lot of people have read, and it's in this time period, and that is Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. And this takes place in Paris, France, and I am obsessed with this book. I read it so quickly. It makes me so happy. I'm hoping in this year, 2016, to reread this, because I've already reread Lola, but I haven't ever reread Anna, and I just love this author. I love these books so much, and it was so fun to read about her in this boarding school in Paris. It was amazing. The next book I have, I just read it in December, and I loved it. And I did just watch the movie. I'm not as big a fan of the movie. I thought it was okay, but I just didn't find myself connecting the same way that I did with the book. It's okay, it's fine. The book's still amazing. It's just way better, I thought. The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak, and this takes place during the early 1940s. It's 1939 through 1942, I think, in Germany. It's obviously a very depressing time to read from, but every now and then it's really good. It was heartbreaking, but it was a fantastic book, and it was really interesting, I think, to kind of read from the Germans' point of view with all the bombing and everything. But I put this in my top 10 of 2015, so if you want to check that out, do that. This next book, I've seen a few other booktubers do this tag already, and they've also included this book, so Once again, I have Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, and this takes place about the same time, the 1940s, but in Wales. And this is one of my favorite trilogies. The third one just came out this past year, and I feel like this is one of those trilogies that each book just got better and better. But yeah, it's like kids with kind of like peculiar talent, like superpowers, sort of, if you will. But it was really good. It's kind of like goes back and forth between present day and this time period. They do travel a bit more, but I'm not going to go into that. But yeah, it has to do with time traveling, and it was very, very different than Passenger. Both are very like unique and very cool though. Also, in about the same time period, I realized how many books I have set in this time period. This is more like the 1930s. I have The Invention of Hugo Cabret by Brian Selznick, but this takes place in Paris, France again. And this is one of the most unique books I own. I actually have a video of like my top 5, I think, most unique books I've ever read. I can link that below if you guys want to like watch that. But there's so far it looks like there's just pictures, but there is, I mean, normal like writing, but like some pages there's like hardly any. It's just beautiful though. I love the illustrations. I really just, the story just comes to life in such a unique way, and I absolutely loved reading it. I actually just checked out another book by him, Wonderstruck, from the library, so I'm excited to read that. But it has 284 pages of original drawings and combining elements of picture, book, graphic novel, and film. So it's a really fun book. I love the time period. I actually love the movie as well, but I definitely recommend this book. Same time period. Again, I didn't realize how many like books I had in the same time period, but this is about the 1930s, and this is Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen. And it takes place in America, but I couldn't remember exactly where, because I remember he's on a circus that travels, so, you know, but it was fantastic. I also really loved the movie. But I think I mentioned this in one of my top 5 or top 10 favorite adult books, so I can link that video if you missed it. But this is a fantastic book. I cried. It was wonderful. Then we have one of my childhood favorites, and that is the Little House on the Prairie series by Laura Ingalls Wilder. And this takes place, I believe, during like the 1870s. And I think it starts out in Wisconsin, but they move later on. And I love this series so much, and I used to watch the TV show with my mother, and I just love this series. The next book is also during the 1870s, but in England. It takes place in London, England, and that is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. And this is a trilogy. I personally love this more than the Mortal Instruments series, but I love them both. And I love this. I love these books so much. This is kind of like more of a paranormal book, but it's so good. And then the last book I have is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon, and I actually also just listed this in my top 10 of 2015, so if you want to watch that. But this takes place, part of it takes place during like post-World War II, and then the other half is like in the 1740s in Scotland. So this is one of the few books I've ever read, I think, that takes place in Scotland. I really enjoyed it. The TV show is also really good, but it's just, many people on BookTube have now heard of this, thanks to like Natasha and Sasha. But yes, it's a really good series. Well, I mean, I guess it's a good series. I've only read the first book, but I have the rest and I want to continue on. And that is it. So I had a lot of books there, but I love all of those books. So if you're looking for books that are not set just in present day, I know one of those was. But if you're looking for books that aren't just set in like America, you want different countries, most of those were also different countries. So check those out if you want. I can link their Goodreads links below if you guys want me to. But definitely check out Passenger. I'll have more info in the description about Passenger. And I'm so excited for book 2. And it was just so good. So you guys should let me know if you have read Passenger or any of these books. And then in the comments, you should let me know what your favorite setting is. So like either your favorite time period to read in, or like your favorite country that it's based in. You guys should let me know in the comments. Well, that is it, guys. I'm gonna go. I will actually see you before next Wednesday. I have a video planned for this Friday. So I hope that you're having a wonderful day. I will see you next Friday. Goodbye.